At a Senate hearing, CFTC nominee Michael Selig, who would lead the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission if confirmed, faced questions from Senators Booker and Schiff about prediction market platforms like Kalshi. They pressed him on whether these platforms are essentially sports betting and expressed concerns over the lack of regulation. Watch the full exchange right here.
I want to get into some of the corruption we're seeing in American sports right now. It would be hard to have missed that in this past month the FBI indicted several NBA and MLB players that were trying to manipulate outcomes for profit. I'm a fan. As a college football player myself, the older I get, the better I was, I must say. So I could have been in the pros too. But the bad actors are caught because regulated sports books caught the suspicious activity. And given these recent events, it's all more concerning that sports event contracts are being offered without the same monitoring. All designated contract markets must comply initially and on an ongoing basis with 23 CFTC core principles, specifically core principle number 3, that requires contracts must not be readily susceptible to manipulation. And so you're going to be right there, should you be confirmed. And I want to make sure that you have strong integrity in your monitoring systems in place to ensure athletes, coaches, league employees, and referees, or any close family or friends or such individuals are not manipulating America's pastime, America's greatest sport, I'd say football, and more. And that's something I wanted you to hear from me since we didn't have a chance to meet privately. The last thing I want to go over is the greatest state in America. Is clearly you agree with me. You can just nod your head. Is New Jersey. It's historic. Our great Garden State is the East Coast home of gaming in the U.S. industry. Employs approximately 51,800 people, garnering close to $2 billion in revenue. America should be thanking New Jersey more for all of our great contributions to this public, but one of them is we were really did the work to legalize sports betting across the United States. We were the ones fighting in court across this last decade to get that legalization. But New Jersey also fought for years to bring sports betting into the legal fold. Then to be sued by those platforms and waste taxpayer dollars fighting for the right to police this activity is frustrating for our state officials and the 34 attorneys generals. And so, again, it's very important to me, and I'll end with this, that these sports contracts have enforcement mechanisms, with over half of the country's chief law enforcement officers saying these contracts break state laws that we're seeing. I'm just frustrated that the CFTC hasn't acted, and I'll let that be my real question to you after my statements.
Senator, thank you, and I do look forward to getting the opportunity to meet. I know we were unable to connect yesterday. And New Jersey, of course, is a great state. My wife sitting behind me is from.
You married
from
up, obviously, if you married a Jersey girl.
That's
sir.
right. As are actually my parents actually are from the area as well. I think it's vitally important that the CFTC look to the courts on a lot of these issues. They're, of course, being litigated across the country, really. To the extent that any of these event contracts constitute gaming, of course, that's a question for the courts. But if they're trading in our markets, if the products are self-certified and the CFTC is allowing them to trade in the markets, of course, it's vital that the CFTC ensure that those contracts are not being manipulated, that they're not readily susceptible to manipulation. It's a core principle. And of course, if confirmed, that would be something that I would enforce.
Well, judges might hand down a decision in agreement with Jersey and 34 state attorney generals, and I'm hoping that you will then follow those courts, order companies listing event contracts related to sports events to stop operating in states in which the judges find them to be contravening state gambling law. So I'm hoping we can have a chance that you and I can discuss it. This, as you can see, is a committee that's just a lot of bipartisan agreement, and this is a space I hope you and I can have a dialogue on. It's such an important industry to my state.
In California, across the country, prediction market platforms like Kalshi have been offering so-called event futures contracts on sporting events. I know you've been asked a great deal about this. I just want to drill down further. Right now, I can go on Kalshi and predict who will win tomorrow night's Thursday night football game between the Bills and the Texans. If I spend $1 predicting who the next coach will be of the New York Giants, I can make $6. Sounds a lot like gambling to me. These prediction markets are trying, I think, to have it both ways, simultaneously marketing themselves as financial products and marketing themselves as sports betting. But there's no economic utility to these contracts. There's no price discovery being facilitated. They're offering gaming products with no regulation, and I think that's in violation of state law and tribal sovereignty. The Commodity Exchange Act prohibits any event contracts from being listed, traded, or cleared if, first, the contract involves one of 5 enumerated activities, one of them being gaming, and second, the contract is deemed contrary to the public interest. The regulations implementing the CEA deem all 5 of these enumerated activities as contrary to the public interest. That is terrorism, assassination, war, gaming, or unlawful activity under federal and state law. But we've seen a proliferation of sports betting contracts, sports event contracts being offered this year, even though the vast majority of states say that offering these contracts violates state and tribal laws. Meanwhile, the CFTC has failed to issue any guidance on whether sport event contracts violate existing regulations. I understand that you will defer to the courts. I would hope that you would defer to the courts and abide by court decisions. But what is your view on whether these are gaming in violation or these are some kind of different contractual obligation that has some kind of economic merit, intrinsic economic merit?
Thank you, Senator. And as you know, as a good lawyer, the answer is always it depends, and that's why these are questions for the courts. They're really complicated issues of interpretation.
Well, let me make a simple one. Let's talk about the Bills game tomorrow night. So I go on my phone on one of these platforms and I place a bet on who wins the game. Gaming? Sports gaming?
Senator, it would be irresponsible for me to prejudge that issue. I will look to the courts.
Let me ask it this way. If I were to go into a casino and make a bet, or a facility that legally offers sports gaming and bet on the Bills game, should it matter whether I'm doing it in a licensed facility? Is it a different animal if I do it on my phone through an app? Does it change the nature of a gaming bet, what technology I use to make it happen?
Senator, I again would look to the courts on these questions of facts and interpretation of the law. It's a complex issue. I will follow what the courts say, and to the extent there need to be changes because the law was drafted in a way that's hard to comprehend, I'm here to help with that effort.
Well, I mean, let me just ask, maybe even break it down more simply. If you and I bet on who wins the Bills game tomorrow, would you consider that gambling?
Senator, on this issue, I would look to the courts. So I would look to what the courts say about that issue, and I think it's still working its way through. So once we have an outcome that we can rely on and that we can interpret within the agency, I would look to that.
If betting on who wins or loses a football game is not gaming, is not sports gaming, what do you think sports gaming is? Can you give me an example that, okay, this is clearly gambling, sports gambling. There may be some gray areas, there may be some complex questions, as you say, but okay, this is certainly sports betting. What would you say?
Many lengthy legal opinions have been written on one word in a statute, and I would really want the benefit of understanding what the judges think about the issue. This could be one that works its way all the way up to the top, and so I'll look to the courts on the issue.
So should I take it from your answer that you're a tabula rasa on this? You're not coming into this position with any preset ideas as to whether a future events contract that predicts who wins a football game, you're not coming into this with any preconceived idea whether that's gaming or not?
I think it would be irresponsible for me to prejudge that issue, and so I will come into the issue to the issue at the commission if confirmed with a blank slate and look to the courts.
For more congressional news, stay tuned to Congress Clips, and thanks for watching.